Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with the 11th foodie book tag. On this channel I have put together the cheese book tag, the cookie book tag, which I did with Charlie, butter book tag, pasta book tag, cannoli book tag, sausage book tag, seafood book tag, soup book tag, sandwich book tag, a pizza book tag with many members of the group. And today I'm introducing the classic candy book tag. This is the kind of tag that I can do multiple versions of because there are so many classic candies that I can cover. But today I'm going to be presenting to you 11 questions that center around classic candy, and then 2 bonus, as we always do. First one is Altoids, the most classic that you have read. This can pretty much be deemed as, for its descriptive value or for its chronological value, as in your favorite oldest book that you've read. And Altoids have been around since the 1780s, which is quite some time, and they still have their spark. But my favorite classic, even though I have read Gilgamesh and I've read the Odyssey by Homer and enjoyed both, Aesop's Fables. There's no way that you can go wrong with Aesop's Fables. Presents to you a really clever and simple story. If it's a little more than a page long, that's a long read for this. In many cases, it states the message either at the very end of the work or in bold letters after the work is told. And I get a lot out of this when it comes to basic morals and lessons, and I feel that, and it's quite funny that it was the equivalent to stand-up comedy and telling jokes back in the day. Next one, Necco Wafers. A writer you can rely on time and time again. Necco Wafers have been around since the 1840s, and they were carried around during the Civil War, very much in the way that a candy that I'll be mentioning later was carried around during World War II. I think many of you can guess which one that is. But a writer that I can rely on time and time again is Stephen King. I've been reading him for 12 years. I've been actively reading and collecting his books for 10 years. And I can always turn to him when it comes to being entertained. I've enjoyed most of what he's written, save for Carrie and the Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, but just about everything else is remarkable from his library of books. Next one is Skybar, your favorite diverse collection of short works. And while I've frequently gone to this collection time and time again, I have to refer to 75 Short Masterpieces, because this is the one collection that I read throughout that features representatives of different nationalities, races, genders, backgrounds, and in a way, genres. It's just amazing what Roger Goodman was able to edit and put together. Next one is O. Henry. Have you read O. Henry? If so, what is your favorite O. Henry story? Which, yes, I have read O. Henry. I picked up this mammoth of a collection, which is every short story that he's written. I would say that the O. Henry story that I think has done the greatest job in standing the test of time and is the grand Christmas holiday classic is The Gift of the Magi, because it has been adapted so many times. The way that the idea of giving up one of your prized possessions in order to complement the other person's prized possession, and it creates for such a very interesting but sentimental situation. Some of the best adaptations were, I would say the best adaptation was the Christmas Eve on Sesame Street special, when Bert and Ernie reenacted the story, trying to get things for their paperclip collection and rubber duck, respectively. But I also enjoyed reading The Cop and the Anthem and the Pimento Pancakes, the latter of which I read in the play form, and that was fun to go over. So I would say that the Pimento Pancakes was the one I had the most fun reading because of the play. But I would say that The Gift of the Magi is the ultimate O. Henry classic. And I do want to read more. And I think that collection is definitely going to help. Next one is BB Bats, which is a candy that I thoroughly enjoyed from my childhood. It's a little bit chewy, and a little bit sticky, but still quite delicious, especially the banana flavor. Favorite work about a sport or game? And for that, I chose The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, even though it's not necessarily about the sport or game. Hosseini does a brilliant job making kite flying a fun activity. In this book, the object is to, there are teams of two, and their object is to cut down the opponent's, the other opponent's, their kites. And then there's a runner that has to retrieve the kites. And I would guess the last kite standing, the last kite standing is the one that would be the winner. And it was really epic at the conclusion of the story. I'm not going to tell you what, but I'll just say that the kite flying competition toward the end of the book is epic. But so is the kite flying when there were kids as well. Next one, Candy Cigarettes. A mediocre or bad work you read because you thought it would make you look cool. I really am not one of the conformists when it comes to reading, but I guess that with the vampire craze, I thought that reading I, Vampire, the comic book, would really at least broaden my horizon in vampire comics, but this was mediocre at best. And if I were, it wouldn't be worth collecting them in the single issues because it seemed each issue seemed really thin. Next one, M&Ms, which were a candy created during World War II for soldiers, so that they had a candy that, as the slogan goes, melts in their mouth and not in their hands. What type of books are easiest to take on the go? And for me, it would be thrillers and comic books. I think that when it comes to comic books, I can zip right through them in a very short period of time. I need to do it a bit more. I need to read a few more comic books, but there's so much that needs to be read that I have to split things up here and there. And thrillers are also very quick and easy to get into. Next one is Tootsie Pops. A bookish question you are looking for an answer to. And for me, the greatest bookish question I have is with The Monkey's Paw by W. W. Jacobs. There will be a spoiler, so I would zip forward a few seconds if you do not want to be spoiled. But my big bookish question, or literature-based question is, what was at the other side of the door? Did Herbert return in regular form? Did he return as a mutilated chunk of meat? Or was it all a sham? Something that we will never know, and it continues to boggle my head to this day. But that is what makes a successful short story or work of literature, especially in the field of speculative fiction. Next one, Pop Rocks. A work that caused you to explode, whether it be with anger, happiness, tears, or another emotion that I did not mention. And for that, I chose The Crucible by Arthur Miller, because the whole nature of a petty blame game that continues on to this day and was inspired by events that took place about 2.5 centuries later is just something that it's just outrageous, the way that people find the idea of witchcraft and playing with the devil to be serious business, and it just really, in this case, justice really does not prevail. I'll say that much. Next one, Charleston Chews. Your favorite work from the 1920s. And that one is a pretty challenging one for me, with the fact that I have not read too much from the 1920s, but I would go with the 20s short stories of Franz Kafka. I have read Hunger Artist, which has to do with a man's circus-like artistry where he entertains people by starving himself. And the other Kafka stories from the 1920s heavily reflect two major themes, and that is his seeking salvation to the land that we now know as Israel. Back then it was Palestine. And also his tuberculosis had great reflection on his stories, his decaying and his inability to eat. It was really powerful and saddening. Next one, Wax Lips. A work that you question its existence. And there are so many things I can choose, yet to pinpoint one particular work is a challenge. I would say for this one, Arlene Sardine by Chris Rauschka, which to this day I question why write a story about a fish that wants to be eaten just because we eat some, just because it wants to serve humans and their desires. Next one is Candy Store. What is your favorite classic candy? I would say that overall, my favorite classic candy are Fruities, which are fruit-flavored Tootsie Rolls. And they're not the fruit-flavored Tootsie Rolls that are easy to find at many stores. Fruities are their own thing. There's just the little Tootsie logo, and then Fruities on the major part of the label. My favorites are the blue raspberry. They also come in strawberry, grape, green apple, root beer, and a few other flavors. They used to come in a few others, but things change frequently with them. But looking to find a candy store that has them. And Laffy Taffies are pretty addictive, but I really cut back on them because they were putting a number on my teeth. And the last one is Broken Pinata. Who do you tag? I'm gonna tag 12 people to do the classic candy tag. I tag Peter from Peter Clark the Writer. He's probably going to be doing his soup and sandwich tags are going to be up soon. I'm looking forward to seeing them, and if they aren't already up by now. Steve from Steve Donahue. Alyssa from Sushi Dragon Master. Sue and Megan from the restricted section. Grace from Grace Libby. Becca from My Dreams of Reading. Becca's become a really good booktube friend of mine. She's just awesome. And her video is going to be coming up, her guest contribution is going to be coming up soon. Graham from Mega Man Chief Fan. And Graham, please forgive me again for tagging many of the people you would have probably tagged to do the video. Alexis from Real Human Being, who is a booktuber that I just came across that is quite remarkable and has similar interests to mine, especially when it comes to nonfiction. Britt from Brit. JD from JD's Journeys. The Indie Insomniac. And Kate from Kate File. These are more so American classic candies, but I think that the questions can fit any given situation. And Indie Insomniac, he's from Canada, but he did such an outstanding job with the Butterbook tag and the clips that he used to introduce each question. Brilliant. Thank you for tuning in to the Classic Candy Book Tag. I hope you respond to this with your answers in your own video. And for now, keep reading.